Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here today with the Holman KJV Full Color Study Bible. Now, how they were advertising this is it says the only full color KJV study Bible. I think Nelson since then has come out with this. Now, I got this at Christmas time at a little place up in Stockbridge, Georgia called Ollie's. This is the large print edition for $27.99. I've had this in hardback for years and I've lost it. I can't find it. It's buried somewhere. And, you know, I'd have probably done a lot more Bible reviews, but so many of my Bibles are buried, like the Spiros Zodiades Bible. I can't even think of all the Bibles that are buried right now. But this is a large print. And it was $27.99. And so we'll take a look. Now, I think one reason it was probably on sale is this ugly color. No, I shouldn't say that. But anyhow, it's soft green leather touch. Now, I will say that the imitation leathers of Nelson, Zondervan, and Holman are unbelievable. It used to be, you know, imitation leathers were horrible, disasters. Now they're making imitation leathers that are rivaling genuine leathers. I just noticed Chuck Swindoll's last study Bible only came out in like the leather soft because there's no need. And look at the stitching, just like your finest leathers. Has a little design. Now, this design is more than just a design because it's petroleum based. A lot of these, they're a little slick. It helps you carry it. But look at this, and it is the silver. I am a big fan of silver paintings, but it also comes with two ribbon markers. Two ribbon markers. And so we're going to look at this. We're just going to see how big it is, red letter, the information it contains. And so let's see here. This is about 2 8 in depth, 2 8 inches. A lot of people, they measure these by the spine. Let me see what happens when we measure it by the spine. Well, actually, it's actually like 2 1/16 in the spine. So that's not real wide for a study Bible. You may think it is. It's wide for a Dakes and a Schofield and a Thompson, but it's going to have a lot more information in some ways, and the print's going to be better. And it's just under 9 1/2 inches tall. Now, one thing I learned about study Bibles, being at Thomas Nelson recently, is they do not measure the covers like I do. They measure the book block. So when you see a measurement put out by the company, it's going to be the book block measured. So the little 1/8 of an inch, you know, on either side, it's not going to measure. And it's just under 7 inches wide. I've got that upside down. Sorry about that. Just under 7 inches wide. And I'll show you the side of this too, the spine. They did a good job with the silver. Can't compliment them enough on the color scheme. This is really like the best time ever for Bibles, especially King James Bibles, your Allens, your Schylers, your Cambridges, and then all the major companies doing good. I like the color scheme, the page. So, you know, this color strikes me not cool. So maybe like a beach or something, like a beach house. But then it really grows on me. Comes with a nice little page. I like the little top band is even color schemed as well. I don't know if that can be seen on the video. Brother Mallory does such an incredible job of these videos. Pray for him. He's such a blessing to the work of the Lord. Thank the Lord for him. Hallelujah. And so this came out in 2012, comes out with contributors, Edwin Blum, Jeremy Royal Howard, Stabno, Steve Bond. I'm not acquainted with a lot of these type people. Study note contributors, Bergen, Kenneth Matthews. But Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion did Habakkuk, Wheaton College, on and on. Essay contributors, Guthrie, Blasing, Wellham. So a lot of these people I am not acquainted with. So it starts off with a God's plan of salvation. It's about how we got here, Evangelism Response Center, and that type thing. Steps to a Classic, King James, Steps to a Classic Timeline. Now this, you're seeing me do the pages. When I haven't opened the Bible pages to a certain place, they do get stuck together over the course of time. Has the Epistle Dedicatory in here. Wow. Now this is something you almost never see. They have the translators to the readers in here, which I've done a video on that, just an overview. I'd like to do just like a commentary on it. Absolutely fantastic. The translators to the readers. And 28 pages, done basically by Miles Smith. Okay, how to read and study the Bible. This is good. I like the color scheme in here. Sources and authorships for Genesis, Moses, minor editing. So this is basically new evangelical scholarship. This is not going to be... Now, this is not, by the way, you see me doing the pages, that is not a detriment to this Bible. That's just how the Bible is. So once the pages are undone from the first time, it's done. You just want to make sure you don't rip the pages. Timeline of Genesis. They start with the flood with a question mark about 2350, Tower of Babel about 2200. Fairly conservative. Let's see what it says about the authorship. Doesn't say that I saw real quick. It does come with outlines before the Bible. And here's what the Bible is going to look like inside. You're going to see a lot of commentary, a lot of color scheme in there. Really stands out. A lot of subject headers. We'll see if the commentary is fairly conservative or not. I'm going to guess this is basically just like a conservative new evangelical, which is not like an evangelical. I was really refreshed recently, like reading through the Swindoll Study Bible, how conservative it was in so many ways. Let's see. 5 different ways let us make man in our image is done. A lot of good information there, as a matter of fact. The opening verse of the Bible, 7 words in the Hebrew, establishes 7 key truths upon the rest of the Bible is based. First, that God exists. And I mean, that's just good stuff. 6, God is creator of heaven and earth. Yeah. Bible translation since the time of the Septuagint of the Old Testament in Greek, circa 175 BC, which is highly debatable, have rendered the first Hebrew verb in this verse as was. Anyhow, so you'll see here that it's going to have these articles scattered throughout, and it's going to be full color. This is just a good Bible. I remember the first time we had a young lady at our church. I think her name was Audrey Crenshaw. She's married to a Marine. They're in Japan now. She came in with this Bible, and I looked through it. I was like, I need to go get me one of those. So I got them, I think, on sale at Lifeway. Family is closed down. Lifeway here in Albany, Georgia. And you can see the full color aspect. Now, this is going to be coming primarily kind of from a Baptist viewpoint. So when you get to the gifts of the Spirit and stuff, they're not going to be good on that. They're going to be cessationist or something. You'll see here, this is the famous Beni Hassan tomb painting showing the Semites coming down into Egypt. Gives us a real view of what the Semites looked like going down into Egypt. So that's kind of cool. So it's just full of this kind of stuff. Now, you just carrying it, I mean, this thing probably weighs 3 or 4 pounds. It's big. It does have great center column reference. The center column is done the way I like it. Usually, they still have some lettering in here. Now, it's called large print. Now, I'm going to guess that print is 8.5 point print, which that is not large by any stretch of the imagination. It is easy to read. And for a Bible with this much stuff in it, which I'm going to guess probably has 600,000-700,000 words of commentary, that's just fantastic. And with the center column reference. And then it's probably 7 point in the notes. Man, there at Thomas Nelson, they had one of the coolest things. It's a point finder that's like a transparency sheet, and you set it and it tells you what point it is. I'm like, well, that's cool. So it's large print for what it is, but it's not large print. So if you're buying this Bible thinking you're getting a large print Bible, you're not. You're getting a large print study Bible. If this was a real large print Bible, it would no longer be a study Bible, it would be a family Bible. This would be something you would carry with you. So, and I've seen some maps in here, really like that. Like this is how you open up Ezra. Ezra's got some good stuff in it. As a matter of fact, we'll look at that as far as these notes go. All right. And so, I'm trying to see, until the 3rd century AD, the books of Ezra and Nehemiah regarded as a single book. I'm trying to see if it says author, because the books of Ezra and Nehemiah are anonymous. Ancient Jewish sources usually credit Ezra as the author of Ezra and Nehemiah. More likely, Ezra and Nehemiah was written by the chronicler. So, to me, that's liberal. To some people, that is not liberal. I'll show you the timeline down here at the bottom. That's always very helpful. And then after that, it's got this great little map thing. Tremendous map kind of showing you where you're at. I always liked that. The Life Application Bible was a master at that. So look at that full color map there. That's tremendous. Most maps that are in text, for many different reasons, usually because of ghosting, are not full color. So I'm going to see how this looks on the other side, if you could read. See, it's got some ghosting, but not terrible for full color over here. And so, you know, they're using good paper. This is really the best time for Bible printing. They have come for cost effectiveness, for quality. There's never been a better time for Scripture. Unfortunately, people aren't reading it as much as they need to be. Okay, Proverbs. So this is great. It's a little chart on Proverbs. Like the tongue, godly traits, ungodly traits, emotions, Proverbs topical chart. See, stuff like this is invaluable in a study Bible. Absolutely incredible. Fantastic. Couldn't find anything better. That is helpful. My friend Brother Seagraves wrote a commentary on Proverbs, and he's got a topical index. Absolutely invaluable. So let's see if this thing is, boy, look at ancient Bible. Look at that. It's just great stuff. This is in Daniel. Let's see if this thing is red letter after we get through looking at these great, great pictures of Babylon here. Just great Bible. If you can eat the food, spit out the sticks, get rid of some of the biases in here. Another great map. Wow. Full color map. Just really good. All right, let's see who it says wrote Matthew. So you got to open it. You just want to make sure you don't, that's totally natural. That is not a defect. Okay, the author did not identify himself in the text. However, the title that describes this Gospel of Matthew appears in the earliest manuscripts and is possibly original. Titles became necessary to distinguish one Gospel from another. Many early church fathers, Papias, Irenaeus, Pantanius, and Origen, acknowledged Matthew as the author. Papias also continued Matthew first wrote in Hebrew. And many modern scholars dispute these traditional claims. Some say it was written in Aramaic first. So, we're going to look at this, and we're going to find it is in fact red letter, and it's a good red letter. Red lettering is a tricky proposition. And you can see just the amounts of notes. That's why this Bible is so big. So if you're looking for like a pocket Bible or a Bible to carry in your purse or something you don't have to lug around, this is not the Bible for you. This may be your nightstand Bible. This might be, you know, the Bible that you sit and read, study, pray with. But some people, many people, carry a Bible like this to church, and I think that's good. Here's the Sermon on the Mount. You'll see it's all red letter. And it does begin to get a little busy on there. So let's go over here to Mark 16. Let's see what it has to say about Mark 16, both textually and in the gifts of the Spirit. See, it mentions Matthew 28:19, both the Trinity, but you had to know Jesus is God. That's interesting. Boy, just wonderful pictures. Full color illustrations in here. Wow, the Mount of Olives, wonderful picture in here. There. Okay. So 9 through 20, these verses do not appear in the oldest manuscripts. Not true. Therefore, one should be cautious about building a doctrine based upon these verses and not supported by other scripture. Which you could say that anyhow. So believeth in his baptism, these elements were closely related to apostolic preaching. Acts 2:38, Acts 8:36-38, Acts 16:30. So some good stuff. These 5 signs. And it does say Jesus said this. So it really doesn't have a cessationist view. Now, can naturalistic theories account for the resurrection by Gary Habermas? That's a great little article there. Especially with Resurrection Sunday, Easter coming up, that may be something good. Gary Habermas is a very, you know, he's the one that converted the world's most notorious atheist, Anthony Flew, to at least theism. Anthony Flew says, well, it just has to be. Oh, look at this. Wow, look at this missionary journey. I can see why this Bible is so popular, because the pages that the maps are on are not thicker like they are. They've got like thick, slick pages, some of them. In other Bibles, not this one. It's the same thickness of paper. And that's probably another thing that lends itself to its thickness. They had to use some thicker paper. So let's see what it says. Oh, what a great thing about where the Pentecost and the Jewish diaspora. Okay, other tongues, that is different languages. The tongues have been interpreted as supernatural languages given specifically for the purpose of communicating with the people gathered from all over the Roman Empire. Human languages that were recognized by individuals from various lands, or the Greek language that was common to all the people gathered from throughout the Roman world. The second option seems to best fit the context. Because if I'm not misreading that, I would agree with that. So that is good. All right, I did want to go to 1 Corinthians 13, 14. Okay, Paul valued prophecy over an uninterpreted tongue. Glossary, diverse kinds of tongues, implies that these were human languages. utterance gifts should be exercised only for the edification and exhortation of others. Uninterpreted language is useless to the corporate body. Okay. Maybe this isn't, I'd looked at that young lady that had it, and I found something that seemed to be cessationist. This is not as cessationist as I thought. So this says compare to 1210, so I guess it's not the note in 1210. I thought it would be referring to the note. All right, but so you'll see this. That's kind of cool right there. A little archaeology found in there. And let's see if it's red letter in Revelation. That's always a big question. A lot of people fight about that. Let me just see what it says about 5:20 of 1 John. It says, John clearly affirmed the full divinity of Christ. I agree with you. It is, in fact, red letter in Revelation. What I love about this, about the deity of Jesus, it's all in red in Revelation like 2 and 3, and it says, hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And it's Jesus talking. So Jesus is the Spirit. Hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. All right. So in the back, let's see what's in the back. Doesn't look like a lot. As a matter of fact, table of weights and measures, which I always like that. A glossary of the King's English. Fantastic. And it's a great glossary. That's really good. A glossary in the back of the King's English. That's excellent. Really like that. I know a lot of the Cambridge Bibles will have that, and sometimes TBS. The Concordance looks fairly exhaustive, and it's clear, but man, it's small. I don't know if it's 5-point print, 6-point print. That's the tough thing about concordances. And so many people use their phones and their apps and all this kind of stuff right now. So that's kind of interesting. So let's see how many maps it's got. Let's see. It has art credits, photographs. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8, which is not a lot, but it's okay. Here's the nation of Israel. It tries to take them through a little bit of water anyhow. Which it's amazing how many Bible maps. The folks at Thomas Nelson said they didn't even know their maps didn't take people through water. They said it's not true. They're all looking at it. They're like, you'll see, we think it really does. And I'm like, no, look. And they're like, we're stunned. We can't believe this. So I thought that was fantastic. I like this 3D picture of the Sea of Galilee right here. Good 3D picture of the Sea of Galilee. So overall, this is a very good study Bible. And again, we are in the best time for Bibles as far as cost. This Bible, $27.99 for the high quality 2-ribbon markers, leather soft, amazing study Bible. $27.99. I know it was on sale. It just doesn't come any better than that. So, you're not going to agree with all the doctrines. I'm not sure. They probably, the people who did the notes in this, didn't agree amongst themselves with all the doctrines in there. But it does have a lot of good, ample information in it. So God bless you. I'll talk with you later. The KJV Holman Full Color Study Bible.